We cannot stop until the wreckage of the aircraft is found. This is not just a search mission. It's a journey in pursuit of truth for the families who have lived in agony for more than a decade. And now, the unthinkable has become reality. The search for MH370 has officially resumed, 11 years after the plane mysteriously vanished from the sky, and nearly 7 years since the last search effort ended in silence. One of the greatest mysteries in aviation history may finally be on the verge of being solved. Why now? What led the Malaysian government to approve the reopening of such an expensive investigation? And more intriguingly, why is the company behind this new mission willing to take the risk under a no-find, no-fee agreement? This is no longer just a story for aviation enthusiasts. It's a global tragedy, a wound that has remained open for more than a decade. In this video, I won't dive into every technical detail. We've already done that in depth on the Black Box Silent channel. But to help you understand the full picture, let's go back to the night of March 7th, 2014. Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, carrying 239 people en route to Beijing. Everything appeared normal, until the aircraft reached waypoint Igari, right between Malaysian and Vietnamese airspace. That's when the signals began to fade, not due to technical failure, but something far more chilling. Evidence from official reports shows this was no accident. It was a deliberate act. Someone on board, likely with aviation knowledge, manually switched off the aircraft's transponder, erasing MH370 from radar screens. Even more telling, about 37 seconds before it vanished, the plane was still transmitting data, but the altitude information was suddenly cut off, a setting that can only be changed by hand. That means someone did this, and they may have continued flying the aircraft for several hours afterward. A terrifying truth, a mystery that has haunted the world for a decade. And now maybe, just maybe, we're closer than ever to uncovering what really happened. Instead of continuing along its planned flight path, MH370 made an incredibly sharp left turn, a maneuver so extreme that Boeing's own simulation suggested could not have been executed by autopilot. Someone had to be flying the plane manually. Even more suspicious, the turn occurred precisely when the aircraft was transitioning between two air traffic control zones, from Malaysian to Vietnamese control. This timing created a brief blind spot in communication, a few crucial minutes when no controller was actively monitoring the plane. And right at that moment, all radio contact was lost. A coincidence? Or a meticulously planned part of a larger calculated operation? The truth is, between two international air traffic control zones, there's often a gray area during the handover process, a moment when responsibility hasn't yet fully shifted. If an aircraft disappears during this brief window, it can take much longer for anyone to even realize something is wrong. What's more, MH370's sharp turn allowed it to completely avoid Thailand's Air Defense Identification Zone, ADIZ, a region constantly monitored by military radar. Had the plane suddenly entered that area without a valid flight plan, it would have immediately drawn attention. But the precise calculated turn made it appear as just another harmless commercial aircraft turning back for technical reasons. Nothing unusual. This suggests the person flying the plane wasn't just trained in aviation. They also had deep knowledge of regional airspace geography and the way local air traffic control systems function, especially during nighttime hours. However, the detail that most deeply unsettled aviation experts lies in the behavior of the Satellite Communication System, ACARs. This system allows the aircraft to send and receive automated messages to ground stations without pilot input. As MH370 silently turned back toward Malaysia, a ground station attempted to reach the aircraft via an ACARS message, but received no response. Not only was the message unanswered, but no error was reported by the system either. That only happens when ACARS is fully shut down or has lost all power. Then, 20 minutes later, the Satellite Communication System, SATCOM, suddenly powered back on, sending a login request to the satellite network, as if someone had deliberately turned it off and then turned it back on with precision. Here's the issue. Disabling ACARS is no simple task. On a Boeing 777, the system is powered by multiple redundant sources to ensure uninterrupted operation, even if some sources fail. With 4 generators, 2 primary and 2 backup from each engine, shutting down ACARS entirely would require someone in the cockpit to manipulate multiple systems simultaneously. It would take extensive knowledge of the aircraft's electrical architecture. According to a detailed study by veteran Boeing 777 pilots, the only way to do this would be to disable all 4 power sources, something virtually impossible to do by accident. Each action seems timed to the second, leading to a chilling conclusion. This was not an accident. This was a deliberate, carefully planned act, executed by someone who clearly knew what they were doing. But even with all the main power sources cut, there's still one system that can't be ignored: the APU, Auxiliary Power Unit. On the Boeing 777, the APU is designed to automatically start if the main power fails, ensuring critical systems continue functioning. However, the APU takes time to spool up, and during that vulnerable window, someone with enough knowledge and skill could interfere to prevent it from activating. For example, they might start the APU and immediately shut it down, disrupting the startup sequence. That's not an accident. It's a conscious action, requiring precise timing. And even if the APU is disabled, the 707 still has one last backup, a small, crucial device called the RAT, Ram Air Turbine. The RAT automatically deploys when all other power sources are lost, generating electricity from the airflow as the aircraft moves. However, RAT power is limited to only the most essential systems: fly-by-wire controls, navigation, and basic flight displays. It's not enough to support autopilot or satellite communications. Once again, this supports the theory that the total loss of communication, especially through ASARs, required intentional, highly skilled intervention. Not a random fault, not a technical glitch. And it's the strange behavior of the SATCOM system that ultimately gave investigators their biggest clue. After being disconnected, SATCOM suddenly woke up and tried to re-establish a connection, just like when you restart a powered-down phone. But here's the strange part. That login didn't carry a valid airline ID or flight number. Someone tried to wipe the digital trail, but they forgot that the system would still reach out to the satellite on an hourly basis. These so-called handshakes you may have heard about, they turned out to be the most important clues in the entire investigation. There were a total of 7 handshakes between MH370 and the Inmarsat satellite, beginning with the first signal after SATCOM rebooted itself, and ending with the final one nearly 7 hours after the aircraft vanished from radar. This series of signals confirmed one chilling fact: MH370 was still flying. And it wasn't just flying aimlessly. Analyses of signal timings and frequency shifts allowed experts to estimate the aircraft's distance, direction, and even its relative position at various points during the flight. These faint technical signals became the foundation for an international search effort that stretched on for years beneath the vast Indian Ocean. And yet, after all those years, the precise location of MH370 remains unconfirmed. So why do some believe that this new search could be different? According to several sources, recent advancements in seafloor scanning technology, data processing, and debris drift modeling may be the key. More advanced simulations, more powerful algorithms, and reprocessed satellite data using modern techniques could dramatically narrow the search area. Meanwhile, some experts remain skeptical, questioning both the motives and the feasibility of the renewed effort. Is this a genuine search for the truth or just a symbolic gesture? That divergence in opinion is part of what makes this story so compelling. And to stay grounded amidst conflicting narratives, I personally rely on Ground News, a platform that lets me compare how different news outlets report on the same event. For a case as emotional, mysterious, and sensitive as MH370, having a multi-perspective view is not just helpful, it's essential. Because this isn't just a technical mission, it's a human one. 239 people still haven't been brought home. And maybe, just maybe, this time we're closer than ever to the answer. Now, more than a decade since the initial search, Ocean Infinity has officially returned, equipped with more determination, more advanced technology, and a stronger commitment than ever to uncover the truth behind MH370. This time, they're not just relying on old methods. They've upgraded their fleet with the latest generation of autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, capable of ultra-high-resolution seafloor scanning and designed to operate continuously for long periods without human intervention. This means they can deploy multiple submersibles simultaneously, covering vast areas of the ocean floor more quickly and accurately than ever before. Ocean Infinity also confirmed that this mission will utilize the most up-to-date data available from multiple sources, including drift pattern analyses of recovered debris, 3D ocean current models, historical weather data, and input from independent scientists and top aviation experts. They're working alongside international research institutions to refine the search zone down to individual square kilometers, something that simply wasn't possible in earlier searches due to technological limitations. And here's something remarkable. Ocean Infinity is not asking governments to pay up front. Instead, they've accepted the financial risk themselves, only getting paid if they successfully locate MH370. It's a bold move, but one that reflects their deep confidence in their capabilities. This has reignited global attention and renewed hope, not just for the families still waiting for answers, but for the entire aviation industry. Because solving the greatest mystery in modern aviation history wouldn't just bring closure. It could also lead to improved safety measures, better tracking systems, and stronger emergency response protocols for future flights. More than 10 years have passed, yet the pain remains fresh for the families of the 239 passengers and crew. There has been no definitive explanation, no proper funerals, no true closure. The story of MH370 continues to haunt millions around the world and stands as a symbol of unanswered questions. Ocean Infinity's return isn't just a technical mission, it's a profoundly human journey, a search for truth, justice, and perhaps some final peace for those left behind. And if you want to follow this process in an objective, transparent, and comprehensive way, make sure to check out Ground.News Mentor. As I mentioned before, Ground News lets you see not just the event itself, but how different outlets are reporting on it. In a world where truth can often be clouded by bias, it's a powerful tool to help keep your perspective clear. So now the question remains, will this be the moment we finally come closer to the answer? Let's wait and see. From all the available data, a chilling realization gradually emerged. The aircraft may have continued flying for up to 6 more hours after losing contact, on what appeared to be an aimless trajectory, as if either controlled by someone with a clear purpose or left to fly on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. The handshake arcs span thousands of kilometers, and the final arc, the 7th, is believed by many experts to mark the point where the aircraft likely ran out of fuel and descended into the sea. But here's the problem. This arc stretches hundreds of kilometers wide, crossing areas of deep ocean where the seafloor plunges thousands of meters and is as rugged and complex as underwater mountain ranges. That's why, despite the use of submarines, underwater drones, and the most advanced sonar technologies, the search has yet to yield a conclusive result after all these years. But now, with Ocean Infinity returning, armed with a new generation of deep-sea scanning capabilities and unmatched precision, hope is once again being reignited. This time, they bring not only better technology, but also invaluable experience from their previous mission, during which they helped redefine the very approach to searching for missing aircraft in the deep ocean. This time, it's not just about wide-area scanning, it's about smart, strategic scanning, based on rigorous scientific analysis and continuously updated data models. Many researchers are even developing AI algorithms to predict potential crash sites, learning from layers of data, including ocean currents, wind patterns, and even sea surface temperatures at the time of the disappearance. This search isn't just a mechanical effort. It's the result of a powerful collaboration between human intelligence and the most advanced technologies of the 21st century. What makes this even more groundbreaking is the fact that, if MH370 is finally found, it won't just solve one of aviation's greatest mysteries. It will also stand as a triumph of perseverance, science, and justice after more than a decade of grief and uncertainty. Millions, family members, pilots, engineers, or even those simply seeking the truth, may finally be able to grasp an answer. The biggest question now isn't if we'll find it, but when. If this story matters to you as much as it does to us, stay tuned. Remember, the truth can be hidden, but it cannot be buried forever. The MH370 story is not over, and this time we may be closer than ever to its final chapter. What's especially shocking is the latest research by Richard Godfrey, which not only reinforces his previous findings, but reaches a level of precision that many once considered impossible, especially using a tool as unconventional as amateur radio waves, WSPR. In his latest report, Godfrey and his research team compared simulated MH370 flight paths derived from WSPR signals with 2 recently discovered debris pieces, both confirmed to be from the missing Boeing 777. The discovery locations, combined with ocean current patterns and wave propagation models, align strikingly well with the region predicted by WSPR signal data. This not only strengthens confidence in the reliability of this method, it also reignites hope that we may finally trace the true path of MH370 after more than a decade of silence. If Godfrey's model is accurate, and mounting evidence suggests it is, then we may be witnessing a critical turning point, where amateur radio science and pure passion achieve what hundreds of millions of dollars worth of advanced equipment have yet to accomplish, pointing to where one of history's greatest aviation mysteries came to an end. More importantly, this model opens up a completely new way of tracking airborne objects, without radar, GPS, or standard signals, by analyzing minute shifts in radio frequencies invisible to the naked eye. It's not just a technical breakthrough, it's a symbol of the power of community-driven innovation, where ordinary people, fueled by extraordinary intellect and determination, make game-changing contributions. So what does this mean for the current search for MH370? It means that as Ocean Infinity prepares to launch their new mission with the most advanced tools yet, they no longer have to search blindly. They can begin with a highly refined area, where satellite data, aerodynamic calculations, and now WSPR signal analysis all independently converge. If luck is on our side, then perhaps, instead of spending years combing through an uncertain stretch of ocean, the search vessels can go directly to a high-probability hotspot, the most likely location to finally find the missing aircraft. The question is no longer whether MH370 can be found. The question now is, are we ready to face the truth? Because if the aircraft is found, it will awaken more than just technical questions about what caused the tragedy. It will raise deeper questions about how we confront loss, how we live with unanswered mysteries, and how an entire world can come together, refusing to give up until the truth is finally brought to light. And you know what? If you're still following this story, then you're part of that journey to uncover the truth. Because things like this, things thought to be lost forever beneath the ocean floor, can only be found if we, all of us, believe that truth has a way of rising. Now, after more than a decade in darkness, hope is rising stronger than ever. The search for MH370 is no longer a desperate effort carried out in isolation. It has become a symbol of human perseverance and our unshakable spirit in the face of one of the greatest mysteries of our time. Ocean Infinity's decision to resume the search, despite immense financial risk and with no guaranteed reward if they fail, is more than an act of courage. It is a declaration of faith and a testament to our hunger for truth. And perhaps, for the first time since 2014, all the pieces of the puzzle are finally beginning to fit together. From the computer flight simulations attributed to Captain Zahari Shah, to Inmarsat's satellite data, to the insights of aviation experts like Blaine Gibson and Patrick Blelly, and most notably, Richard Godfrey's pioneering WSPR-based positioning model, everything is converging. Together, they are pointing toward a single area in the vast ocean where the Boeing 777 may have reached its final resting place. This is no longer a coincidence. It's a historic scientific convergence, something that may bring us closer than ever before to the truth. And if this search succeeds, it won't just bring closure to a tragic chapter in aviation history. It could also open a new era in the way we investigate air disasters, where even the faintest signals, once dismissed as noise, might become golden clues in decoding the world's most perplexing crashes. Just imagine the moment the Ocean Infinity team sees the first image appear on their screens. A wing eroded by salt water, a fragment of fuselage shimmering under the deep, dark sea. It wouldn't just be a discovery. It would be the answer that hundreds of families have waited for, day after day, year after year, living in painful limbo between fragile hope and cruel uncertainty. And if the black box is recovered, the world may finally learn what truly happened on that fateful night. Not just theories, not just speculation, but the truth, recorded in sound, in data, in irrefutable evidence. This is a defining moment. This is a journey not just to find an aircraft, but to reclaim our belief that nothing is ever truly lost, so long as there are still people willing to search. And perhaps you, yes, you watching this video, reading these words, are a part of that mission. Because as long as we still care, still speak, still remember, MH370 has not truly vanished. And until the final answer is found, we will not stop. So keep watching, keep sharing this story, and keep that spark of hope alive. Because the truth, no matter how deeply buried, always finds a way to surface. And this time, perhaps, it's about to break through.